have a good Sunday.
Sounds good.
Okay, sounds good. All righty. So let's give ourselves our wiggle and we will get started. So we'll start on our knees, sitting on our heels, and we'll tuck our tail under just a little bit, open up that low back, and then grow nice and tall. We'll pull the shoulders back, lift the heart, breathe into our bellies. We can even put our hands around our waist just to feel the expansion as we inhale, exhale, it relaxes. We'll just bring those thoughts inward, check in with how we are feeling this morning. And we'll begin to connect with ourselves so that we can have that sensitivity so that as we move around throughout our practice, we can listen to what our body is telling us. And we'll inhale, lift those hands nice and high, pull the shoulders back and down, continue to tuck in that tail. Don't want to do a weird arch in that back. We're just being nice and tall. And then exhale, we'll just lower the right hand, reach the left up and over. And then inhale back up to the top. And then exhale, other side. Left hand reaches down. Right hand goes up and over. We stack those shoulders on the same plane. Relax in our neck. Open up that right side of our body. And then inhale back up to the top. And then exhale, we'll just bring those hands forward. Feet are down above our heels still into our child's pose. Arms are out in front of us. Fingers are wide. We can wiggle those digits out. Spread them apart. And then we'll inhale up to our tabletop, hands and knees. Our hands are underneath of our shoulders. Our knees are hip width apart, right underneath of those hips. We can either tuck the toes if we would like, or let them rest underneath. Either way, no problem. And then as we exhale, we'll round into our cat. And inhale, arch for cow. Exhaling cat. And inhaling cow. Moving with our breath, just wiggling that spine around, getting it nice, lubricated. Exhaling cat. Inhaling cow. Let's do one more of each, rounding as we tuck our tail and our chin. And then inhale, we'll drop that tummy, lift the heart and the tail. And then we'll find that neutral spine again. Right here. Inhale, we'll lift up that right hand out in front of us and press the left heel back behind us for a spinal balance. Reaching with the fingers, pressing with the heel. Then let's round that left hip down so that we're flat in the back. And then back down to all fours. And then left hand and right foot will come out. Making ourselves long. We're strong in the tummy, so we're not drooping. We're nice and flat behind. And exhaling back down. Let's do that one more time each side. So lifting up the right hand and the left foot. And back down. And then the left hand and the right foot. And exhaling back down. And now let's do one cat and one cow. After being so strong and still, our back needs to move around sometimes. Back to that tabletop. And then we'll lift up the right hand up to the sky. And then exhale, reaching through. We're going to thread the needle, lowering our ear and our shoulder down onto our mats. And then our left hand can stay out in front of us, and we can use those little creepy crawly fingers to kind of work our way around to the right to open up those shoulders if we like. If that's tough on our shoulder, we can even place that left hand on top of the right to help. If you're feeling spicy, we can lift it up to the sky. One more deep inhale here. Stay for that exhale. And then slowly unwind and come back to our tabletop. And then when we're ready, we'll lift up that left hand up to the sky. And then reaching it through the right, palm up. We're lowering the left shoulder down, listening to our mat with our ear. And then thinking about our hips too. Sometimes we want to compensate by shifting our hips in the direction that our hand is. Bring those babies back over the top of the knees. Our right hand again can come out in front of us and creepy crawl around to the left if we like. Or we can place it on top of that left hand to help open up those shoulders. Never force, but help. Or if we would like, we can lift that right hand up to the sky. And if we find a spot after we get there and we don't like it, we can always come back and try something else. Let's do one more inhale. And exhale. And then we'll come back to the center. Tabletop, hands and knees, fingers are wide. Good. And then we'll just bring those hips back to our heels into our child's pose again. Give a couple of breaths here. And rest our head, our shoulders. Then we'll wiggle those fingers out in front of us so we're reaching nice and long. Fingers are wide, and we'll press each fingertip down into our mat. And then inhale up to a little plank. So bringing our shoulders over those wrists. Now the hips are going to come forward a little bit, pressing into those hands, opening up behind us in those shoulder blades. And then exhale, hinging at the hips and the shoulders, keeping our backs nice and straight. Just press back towards our child's pose again. And then inhale, we'll come forward to that little plank. And then exhale, keeping the back nice and straight, hinging at the hips and the shoulders, pressing back. And then inhale forward. We'll do this a couple more times. And forward. And then one more time, pressing back. Keeping the spine nice and long, coming forward. We'll stay here in this little plank. And then exhale, our chest will come forward, our elbows will go back as we lower ourselves down to our tummies. Hands are underneath of our shoulders. Legs are long behind us. Inhale, we're just going to scoop that chest forward and using those back muscles, lifting it up into our baby cobra. And then we'll press into those hands and come all the way back, child's pose. Now we can round in the spine, drop the head. And inhale up to our little plank. Exhale, we'll lower down. Inhale, scooping that back, opening up the chest for baby cobra. Pressing back to our child's pose. Inhale one more time. Exhaling down. Inhaling. Little cobra. And we'll press back to our child's pose. Let's stay in our child's pose for one full breath. And then inhale, we'll come up again to our little plank. And we'll take that left foot and bring it forward to the outside of that left hand into our lizard pose. Bringing the hips forward, chest is proud, back is straight and long. Take a little bit, wiggle in. Sometimes you need to know exactly where we're at. And then exhale, let's work our way back into our half split. So hips will come over the right knee. Our left toes are pointing up to the sky. Hands can come to the thigh or to the shin, to the floor. or that dictionary that we just can't quite figure out what to do with now, but there is dictionary.com. And then inhale, let's bend that left knee. Right hand will find the floor, left hand comes up to the sky for a twist. And back down to our lizard. And let's go back to that half split again. Find our spot, hinging again at the hips, keeping the back straight as we bring our chest toward the toes. And then inhale, let's come forward. Right hand again finds the floor. Left hand comes up to the sky. And now with that left hand, let's reach back, see if we can find the right foot. Continue to sink those hips down as best we can. Open up the shoulders, kick into our hand to open up the shoulders. And then we're also pulling that heel in towards our butt. Lots of stuff going on here. But then after these super complicated poses, we can tell, like the rest of the day, like, whew, I just worked out so hard. And then let's release that foot, come back down to our lizard for a brief moment. And then we'll step back, child's pose. A breath or two here. And then we'll wiggle those fingers out in front of us, pressing into each little fingertip. Inhale, come up to our little plank. And then the right leg will come forward. And we'll set ourselves up for lizard on this side. Wiggle in, finding the alignment so that our knee is around our ankle. We don't want it to go too far and hurt ourselves. And then when we're ready, we'll work our way back for our half split. The right leg is long, hips are over that left knee. Chin and chest are going towards the toes. Good. And then inhale, let's come forward. Our left hand finds the floor, and then the right hand will come up to the sky for a little twist here, pressing into that left hand, keeping that shoulder nice and strong, sinking down the hips, opening up to the sky. And then exhale, we'll come back down. And back to our little split again. And then coming on forward. Again, that left hand will find the floor. Inhale, lift the right up to the sky. Sink the hips down, lengthen from our toes all the way up to the top of our head, into our fingers, down to our foot and our hand on our mat. Nice and strong. And then let's reach back. See if we can find the toes with that right hand for corkscrew pose. One more breath. And then we'll release. Come back down to our lizard. And then we'll step back, find our child's pose. Making those knees nice and wide, sitting the hips back, chest can come low. And then from here, keeping our sitting bones over those heels, let's walk the hands over to the right, reaching across our body with our left hand. Opening up that side body. And then back to the center. Let's take one breath here in the middle. And then when we're ready, we'll walk on over to the other side, over to the left, reaching across with that right arm, sitting the hips low. And then back to the center. One or two more breaths here. And then we can walk those hands back just a little bit. We'll swish our feet over to one side and come on to our bottoms. Bring those legs out in front of us. And we'll just place those feet on the floor in a bent knee staff pose. And then hands can come back behind us. And we'll just do some little windshield wipers with our knees. So exhale, we'll take those knees over to one side. And then inhale, we'll come back up to the center. And then exhale down to the other side. Inhale up and exhale down. And inhale up and exhale down. Just move around in those hip joints. Create some length in those thighs. And with our arms behind us, we can also do a little chest opener. Let's do one more to each side, and we'll add to this. And now let's come back to the center. Good. And now exhale, we'll take those knees over to the left and we'll find ourselves in this 90-90 position right here. We're going to lift up. So we're still sitting on our knees, opening up in the front of the hips. And now our right hand will touch the thigh or the calf and we'll lift up the left hand. And then exhale, we'll come back down to our butts and then to the center and then over to the right. So I'm going to turn so that you can see what I'm doing. Over to the right, we'll come up onto those knees, opening up in the front of our body. Left hand will come down, right hand up to the sky. And back down. Let's do that one more time to each side. So back to the center, over to the left. Inhale, lifting that butt up off of the floor, dropping the right hand, lifting the left. And exhaling down. And now let's come over to the right and up. And then left hand will go down, right hand comes up. And then back down and to the center again. And now this time we're going to go into our deer pose again. So bringing those knees over to the left. We'll hang out here for a little bit. Our hands can find the ground in front of this left leg. So if we need to resituate on our mat, we can surely do that. Take a little bit of time here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to leave this left hand on the floor over here by our left hip, and then reach up and over with the right, twisting as if we want to look all the way around past the left shoulder. Lengthen on the inhale, deepen that twist on the exhale. And then we'll slowly come back to the center. And then all the way around, facing the front of our mat. And then we'll go the other way. So our knees will go to the right. We'll center over that right leg. Hands can come to the ground for a breath or two. And then we'll let that right hand rest over here by that right hip. Left hand is going to reach around. And we're going to try and peek over that right shoulder. And this left hip will want to come up off of the floor. It's absolutely welcome to come with us. As we twist around to the right, we lengthen on that inhale. We deepen the twist on the exhale. And then all the way back, we'll release around to the center, back to all the way to the front. We can rest those legs out in front of us. Give them a little wiggle if we would like. We're going to keep them about mat width apart. So they don't have to be too wide. They don't have to be Gonna be just right, Goldilocks. And we're gonna walk those hips back just a little bit. Lengthen in the spine on our inhale. We can even raise our hands if we would like, and then exhale, we'll just slowly fold forward. We can walk our hands down, creepy crawly them down, or reach in between those legs. And then slowly we'll walk our way back up to the top. And then we'll tuck this right foot into the left thigh, into our Janu Shirshasana. Inhale, lifting our hands up to the sky, and we'll turn towards that right knee. Exhale, we'll lower the left arm down to the inside of the left leg, reaching up and over with our right. And then inhale, coming back up to the top. One breath here. Inhale, let's lengthen in that spine. And now exhale, let's walk our hands around to the right for a little spinal twist. So right hand will come back behind our hips. Left hand will find the outside of the thigh. Lengthen on that last inhale. Exhale, relax and twist just a little bit more. And then we'll come back to the center. And then we'll unwind and we'll bring those legs out in front of us again. And we'll keep this right leg nice and long. Left leg will come to the inside of the thigh. And then we'll inhale, lift the hands up, and we'll turn towards that left knee. And then lower ourselves down to this right leg. Right arm goes to the inside of that right knee. Left arm reaches up and over, doing our best to stack those shoulders one on top of the other. Doing our best so that we can peek to the sky inside this left arm. And then we'll inhale. Slowly come back up to the top. And take a breath. And then we'll lengthen on that inhale. And a little twist to the left, walking those hands around. Left hand finds a spot behind us. We can use that arm to also support the spine as we lift and twist. Right arm finds a spot on that left thigh. That helps encourage our shoulders to move around. And let's lengthen one more time. Exhale and twist. We'll come back to the center. Bring those legs out in front of us. Bend the knees, placing our feet on the floor. And then we can roll up into our ball and rock back onto our backs. Do our little turtle, rocking back and forth. And then we'll roll up into that little egg, holding the knees tight into our bodies, tucking our chin. And then we'll release our left leg down onto the mat. Foot comes down, knee is bent. We'll cross the right ankle over that left knee. We'll just open that right leg away from ourselves. We can even just touch, barely touch. Just help it go in the correct direction. Opening up, flexing this right foot. And then if we are happy here, we stay here. We're opening up that hip. If we would like, we can lift that left leg up off of the floor, hold behind that hamstring. And begin to bring that left knee in towards us as the right knee, we're willing it away. And then we'll keep our legs crossed. We'll release that hamstring. Left foot comes back down to the floor. Keeping this configuration, we're just going to move those legs over to the left into a little spinal twist here. Still opening up that right knee away from us. And then we'll come back to the center. We'll release that right leg down to the mat. We can roll up into our egg again for a breath or two. And then we'll release that right leg, right foot down to the floor. And we'll repeat this process on the other side. So left leg, left ankle is crossed over the right knee, moving that knee away from our bodies, opening up this whole space in between. flexing that left foot. And then if we're happy here, we stay here. If we would like, we can lift up that right foot, hold behind its hamstring, bringing that right knee into us as we're still encouraging the left knee to go away. Let's do one more big breath here. Then we can release that right foot back down onto our mats. Keeping the same leg configuration, we're just going to move it on over to the right. Our arms can hang out to our sides on the floor. And then slowly we'll come back to the center. We'll release that left leg and we can bring both of our knees back into our chest, roll up into our egg. One more deep inhale here. And then on our next exhale, let's let everything go. As we lower ourselves down into our Shavasana, we close our eyes. We soften our jaw and our shoulders. Our arms and legs become heavy as we surrender ourselves to gravity. And we allow ourselves to just be. No expectations. Just be still. If you feel like you need a little bit more rest time, please sit still. If you are ready, we deepen our breath. We wiggle our fingers and our toes. We gently come back into our space. Bring our knees into our chest and roll over onto our side. And we'll help ourselves up to a comfortable seated position. Wherever we land is perfect. Bring our hands together. Bow our heads to us in gratitude for all of the gifts that we just gave ourselves. Recognize all that we receive from outside sources. And I say this every time, but I mean it 100% every time. I am so grateful for all of you for joining me, for sharing your energy and your practice with me and allowing me to share mine with you. I wish you all a very, very happy, fantastic, sunshiny day. Whether we have to create the sunshine within ourselves or it's outside our window. The light and the divine in me recognizes and respects the light and the divine in each of you. And when we are together, whether physically or virtually, we are one. Namaste. Thank you so, so much. Have a fantastic